Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing their video on Finding Nemo. And even though I'm doing this video specifically for my friend Jake's birthday, I do also want to give a shout out to another one of my friends, Nico, for requesting this video. Enjoy, everyone.
46 seconds of two damn logos.
Ignoring you sitting opening logos again, the bars that are supposed to be around the top and bottom aren't shown here.
So, Coral, when you said you wanted an ocean view, you didn't think you were going to get the whole ocean, did you?
Fish real estate.
So the bars popped in here, but I still got a senior for them not being there at the start of this. And yes, I know Jay Exci and CinemaSins both pointed this out already, but since I'm also doing this video, I should point it out too.
Because a lot of other clownfish had their eyes on this place.
Every single one of them.
That's interesting, since while this movie gets a ton of actual real clownfish facts correct, real ones live in communities where only the alpha male and female are permitted to breed, making me wonder why there are so many damn clownfish clans in this tight vicinity to be competing for marlins and anemone.
That could be because the other clownfish wanted the ocean view, but Marlin and Coral ended up making the anemone their home first.
Oh, look. They're dreaming.
Okay, sure, if you say so, but all of them have their eyes open. And they're basically zygotes right now, but whatever.
That's fair in the context of this film since the fish are shown to have eyelids, but realistically that would make sense according to this.
We'll name this half Marlin Jr., and then this half Coral Jr.
I like Nemo.
For all of them?
But Coral didn't say that she wanted to name all of them Nemo, so what's the point of this sin, Jer?
Also, another interesting moment, considering that all clownfish are hermaphrodites, beginning life as males and then changing into females as the needs of the clan dictate.
Which means that it doesn't matter what clownfish are named, right?
There's over 400 eggs. Odds are one of them is bound to like you.
Foreshad irony.
Yeah, so?
This barracuda wouldn't even know about the delicious clownfish babies if Coral hadn't darted down to protect them. Motherly instinct is addicted kids.
But even if Coral didn't do that, the barracuda probably still would have seen the eggs, considering that the nest was visible for any fish to see. Additionally, even though she gets killed, it's understandable for Coral to want the eggs to be safe, since as a mom, she'd want her kids to be safe.
Horrible predator fish knocks Marlin straight into his home, where he just happens to be extremely safe from everything.
Narration.
Coral?
Movie kicks you in the balls at the 4-minute mark, and your balls will not recover.
It's almost like you're supposed to feel emotional here, or something.
Oh, man. I'm only laughing because when I went to Wikipedia to research that earlier sin about breeding habits of the clownfish, I read that they're hermaphrodites. So if the alpha female of the clan is killed, the strongest male remaining becomes female and takes her place, which means Nemo is destined to be a chick. And also means I think I just figured out the plot to Finding Dory.
Actually, like the Birdman and CinemaSins said, Nemo wouldn't be the one to transition from male to female. It would be Marlin, because when something happens to the female of the breeding pair, which is Coral here, the male of the pair becomes female.
I have 1, 2, 3. That's all I have? Oh, you're okay.
Father thinks that stripe counting is equal to perfect health. Though I should give him a break since his wife and 399 children died and left him on his own.
From what Marlin asks Nemo, it seems likely that fish in this world ask another fish to count their stripes to know if that fish can see well or not.
We go out and back in. And then we go out and back in.
Obsessive-compulsive disorder.
But this is a flaw of Marlin, not the movie itself, since the barracuda attack led him to become overprotective of Nemo, and his arc in the film is learning to be less overprotective of Nemo. So because this is a character flaw that the movie itself is aware of, I'll be giving out my award here.
Whoa, hold on, wait to cross.
Entire trip to school was devoid of other sea life, and then bam, this one spot has all the neighbors.
Narration.
What's wrong with his fin? He looks funny!
Kids.
Actually, the real sin here is Sheldon getting spanked by his dad despite him not saying anything about Nemo's fin. And since Tad was the one who made fun of Nemo by saying he looks funny, his dad should have been the one to react, not Sheldon's.
Marty learns the school kids are headed for the drop-off 10 seconds after they leave, but arrive so much later than them at the actual drop-off that it's basically inconceivable.
Don't you mean Marlin learns the school kids are headed for the drop-off since Marty was what the parents were incorrectly calling Marlin?
Alright kids, feel free to explore, but stay close.
I see lots of problems with these instructions.
I can see that, but would be good for you to give explanations to us here.
Fish only notice the scuba diver when we do, which is when he comes into frame. Why did no one see him the entire time Marlin, the teacher, and all the students were looking in this direction?
Because since he was rising up when appearing behind Nemo, that means that he'd have been in a lower place where they wouldn't have seen him.
Okay, so I've seen this movie before. I know the ultimate moral is that Marlin should let Nemo live his life and not be a nagging rules-based father. But the problem is, this scene that sets the entire movie in motion sort of proves that Marlin was right, and Nemo was a dumbass, right?
Actually, what Marlin learns over the course of the film is that while he's right about the dangers of the sea, he should be less overprotective. And the lesson that Nemo learns is accepting that the sea is extremely dangerous and that he shouldn't go risking his life so foolishly.
These goggles fall off the boat here, but rest assured, not only will they be found long after this by Marlin and Dory, but they'll also end up being some sort of a goggles ex machina kind of thing.
But this wouldn't be a Deus Ex Machina because Marlin and Dory later finding the goggles doesn't abruptly solve their problem of finding Nemo. The only purpose the goggles serve is helping Marlin and Dory figure out where Nemo is. So what you should have said was Chekhov's goggles.
Geez, do these fish ever know when there's something dangerous in their immediate vicinity? Bruce turns out to be a nice shark, but still.
Sure, fish do instantly sense danger, but since Marlin was distracted by talking to Dory, it makes sense that he didn't see Bruce until right now.
Is it customary for scuba divers to write a return address on their masks? Thank God for Marlin's sake, right?
Yes, it is common for divers to do that so that their equipment can be returned to them if it gets lost.
Here's Brucey!
This shark has seen The Shining, or The Tonight Show, but probably The Shine. Regardless, it's ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure it's a reference to The Shining, but regardless, it's just supposed to be one of those references for the adults to catch.
You can read?
I can read? That's right, I can read!
But why can you read? You're a goddamn fish. If fish can read in this universe, why is Marlin so mind-blown about it?
Probably because reading isn't common in this world since it's set underwater, even if the sea creatures know what reading is.
Inside jokes.
Sinning Pixar's Easter eggs.
He likes bubbles.
That's great, but you were not on any of these walls a second ago in the wide shot.
Okay, I'll respond here by playing CinemaSins' response to this sin.
This shot is of the tank from the side of the waiting room, while the wall that Peach is on the side of the examination room.
The pelican broke a picture, which the dentist takes as an excuse to talk about his niece and directly addresses Nemo with the ultimate reason why he doesn't want to be in this aquarium right now.
Actually, Nemo learning that he'll be given to Darla is the second biggest reason why he doesn't want to be where he currently is. The main reason is that since he was taken against his will to Dr. Sherman's office, he wants to return to the ocean and reunite with Marlin.
Are you my conscience?
Movie saves a ton of animation time and money by putting Dory and Marlin in the darkest place possible.
Okay, but what makes that wrong here?
Oh, little Blue. She is sub-level, dude.
Okay, so Dory is lying on top of this turtle's back, all unconscious and shit. But just a second ago, they went through some sort of roller coaster ride where Marlin had to hold on to Crush's shell. So who kept Dory in place?
Herself, because she has her eyes closed due to the fact that she's counting, not because she was unconscious.
Which brings up another question. Why did Marlin have to hold on to Crush anyway? It's not like Marlin, as a free-swimming fish, was going to fall out of the current or anything. The only reason I can think of is they wanted to have this cool roller coaster ride before Marlin found Dory again and Crush wasn't really needed anymore.
Because if Marlin didn't hold on to Crush's shell, he likely would have fallen out of the current, which happens to squirt before he swims back in.
Two little fish have been searching the ocean for days.
Good thing there's a good old oceanic network where all sorts of different species report the news of a father looking for his son. Does this happen every time a fish gets lost? Is Marlin the only dad who ever looked for his son in the ocean blue?
Judging by how amazed the animals are by Marlin's story, I think the film is saying that what he's doing isn't something that normally happens.
The word is he's headed this way right now to Sydney.
Thanks to a dentist who labels his scuba masks just in case he loses it and can't afford a new one.
And that'd be an example of a convenience needed for the film to happen.
Heroes get trapped in a whale cliche.
Jeremy invents a cliche that he'll only ever use for this one-time cliche.
Okay, so this whale has a uvula, and whales just don't have uvulas. Which is weird because I was told the filmmakers really went into crazy detail on everything about all the creatures in this movie. You know, beyond the personification inaccuracies in order to tell the story.
While you're right that whales don't have uvulas, and they instead have an oral plug, this is a fictional movie, so it's allowed to be unrealistic here.
This dentist places every bit of information these fish could possibly need close by in every situation.
Jeremy points out things on the screen cliche.
Ring of fire!
Somehow, despite the fact that this has never been done before, this shoots Gil to the perfect spot.
Yeah. So?
No one's ever stuck with me for so long before.
How would you know?
She's likely remembering that she spent most of her life alone in the sea, since she does remember some things and doesn't forget everything.
Nemo just happens to pop out 20 yards away from his dad after going through a water treatment pipe.
Narration.
I'm looking for someone too. Hey, we can look together.
Maybe we're even looking for the same exact person.
Which is exactly the point, so how is this a sin?
Who's this Sandy Plankton that knows everything wrong?
Sandy Plankton knew everything wrong back in 2003, but thankfully for us, he did not start a YouTube channel to share his thoughts.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
With fronds like these, who needs anemones?
So, learning how to let his son take risks somehow also made Marlin good at joke telling? And these assholes still think this is funny enough even though they heard the gist of the joke 5 times while he was butchering it earlier?
Well, it's less so that, and more so his arc of becoming more self-confident with doing things, which applies to his joke telling.
Now what?
Exactly. I guess the movie is telling us they died in those closed bags because they couldn't get out, right? That's pretty damn dark.
Similar to what CinemaSins said, that's proven to not be the case in Finding Dory, and you even showed that in your video on that movie.
How are these assholes not dead?
And here's the end result, everybody. The sim total is 51, and the sentence will be taken by a scuba diver. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.